Hi, Beth Zupekania back again. We are going to have an interview with Jim and Nancy Abrams at the top of the hour, but I just wanted to put up a little video in the interim to give you some background.
Over 2,000 years ago, Hippocrates wrote that fasting had a beneficial effect on the brain. Since fasting can only be maintained for a limited amount of time, doctors from the Mayo Clinic in 1923 developed a diet that mimics its effects by reducing carbohydrates, increasing fat, and using a moderate amount of protein. This ketogenic diet causes the body to create ketones for energy. Ketones can have a positive effect on people with epilepsy, producing a 50% or greater reduction in seizures in over half of the people who try it. If you or a loved one struggles with epilepsy, are not a surgical candidate, and have been failed by 2 medicines, a ketogenic therapy should be considered. The inspiration for the Charlie Foundation, Charlie Abrahams, was one such candidate. After attempting 7 unsuccessful drugs and a failed brain surgery, his prognosis by the medical profession was lifelong seizures and progressive retardation. Charlie started the ketogenic diet in 1994, and within days his seizures stopped. He maintained the diet for 5 years and has never taken another anti-epileptic medication. Today he's a preschool teacher and eats whatever he wants. Charlie has never had another seizure.
So that was a history of the Charlie Foundation narrated by Charlie's dad, Jim Abrams. And as I mentioned a moment ago, Jim and Nancy are going to join us at the top of the hour for an interview that I'll be conducting to ask them a little bit more about their experience with the diet and their role with advocating ketogenic diet therapy for others. So in the interim, I'm going to go back to the Charlie Foundation website and give you a little tour. So our website address is, as you would guess, charliefoundation.org. Foundation is a nonprofit organization organized in 1993 by Jim and Nancy Abrams, who are parents of Charlie. And you're going to hear the story in a few minutes. But the website really is meant to give you a robust introduction into what is ketosis, are you a candidate, and how do you find support if you are. So if you click on any of these links, you're going to get further information. So for example, what is ketosis? You'll learn about in this little video, which I'm going to run right now because I think it's pretty cool.
Ketosis is a metabolic state within the human body that is caused by prolonged fasting period or by eating a high-fat, moderate-protein, low-carbohydrate diet. When your body is in a state of ketosis, the primary source of energy is fat, either from dietary fat or stored fat. The metabolic state is generally not achieved when consuming a typical Western diet or standard American diet, which relies primarily on carbohydrates as the fuel source. When carbohydrates are consumed, the body breaks down those that can be absorbed into glucose, a form of sugar. This sugar can then strongly stimulate the release of insulin, a powerful fat storing hormone. Carbohydrates that can't be absorbed, for example, soluble fiber, can pass through the small intestine and feed the flora of the large intestine and can aid in the gut microbiome. Conversely, when protein and net carbs are restricted, the body breaks down fat into ketones, which can also be used to create a form of energy that can aid in sustaining normal brain function. Ketosis is defined as having a blood ketone level above 0.5 millimole per liter. This can be measured using a commercially available blood ketone monitoring system. We at the Charlie Foundation advise you to seek medical supervision before attempting to get into a state of nutritional ketosis. Being in a state of nutritional ketosis can be beneficial not only for seizures, but also an emerging number of applications. Our site provides resources to inform you about the potential benefits and the risks associated with nutritional ketosis. In addition, there are a number of recipes to assist you in maintaining and sustaining an enjoyable ketogenic lifestyle.
All right. So that was a wonderful introduction. Now I want to talk about the variations of the ketogenic diet because there's more than one.
There are 5 variations of the ketogenic diet which have been published in medical literature as effective treatments for diseases such as epilepsy, other neurological disorders, and certain cancers. The classic ketogenic diet, modified ketogenic diet, MCT oil diet, low glycemic index treatment, and modified Atkins. The original ketogenic diet, referred to as the classic ketogenic diet, was designed in 1923 by Dr. Russell Wilder at the Mayo Clinic for the treatment of epilepsy. All ketogenic diets are a variation of the classic ketogenic diet. They are described by the ratio of fat to protein and carbohydrate. This is called the macronutrient ratio. The classic ketogenic diet carries a 4-to-1 ratio, which means that there are 4 grams of fat for every 1 gram of protein and carbohydrate combined. The main difference between the 5 types of ketogenic diets is this macronutrient ratio. Fat is higher in calories than protein and carbohydrate. Fat has 9 calories per gram, while both protein and carbohydrate have just 4 calories per gram. In a 4-to-1 classic ketogenic diet, 90% of calories come from fat, while the remaining 10% protein and carbohydrate. Ketogenic therapy includes more than just diet. Nutritional supplements, electrolytes, hydration, activity level, and possibly fasting are also key to attaining therapeutic levels of ketosis and good nutrition. If you are considering the ketogenic diet for medical purposes, consult your healthcare professional or visit our resource section to locate a ketogenic nutrition specialist or hospital near you.
Hello. Hi, Beth.
Hi, Beth. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I think Jen is also on the line with us. She's going to be representing our dietitians at UCLA.
Okay. And Maureen, I think, is here too. Maureen Mayara.
Oh, yes, I just logged in.
Hi.
I just wanted to listen to the talk, but
Okay.
my son's on a ketogenic diet. We just wanted to get some information. But I guess the server's down, so I had to get in through the Facebook link. That might be why there's nobody on here.
Oh, really? Okay.
So we weren't able to get into the website for the Epilepsy Awareness Day. So then I went to the Facebook and the message said that the server's down. And so if people don't know, they can't get in. And I had to go to my Facebook, to the Facebook page, and they had the direct Zoom link on there. So that's how I was able to find you.
Oh my goodness. Okay. I've been in touch with the organizers, but they never mentioned that to me. And I did have one attendee, so I thought, well, she got in.
Oh,
But I
no, the
thought it was very
problem was,
strange. I
I
thought it
saw
was very,
your, I saw you listed on the schedule for the talk.
yeah.
And then, but I couldn't find you on their lobby page. And you were listed, I guess she said it was listed under, um, in the meetup area. So I think it's very hard to find. That's why. So
Ah,
we couldn't find you. We were looking for the meeting, but I couldn't find it.
okay. Thank you for telling me this. I'm going to contact them.
Yeah.
Let's see. So we are going to talk about UCLA's program in just a minute here.
Oh,
They're joining us now as, yeah, we've got a few more minutes and we might have other people joining us too. So I'm just going to bring up their slides. So Beck, or Jen, are you there yet?
I'm here. I was just fixing my background.
Okay, okay, so I think you need to email me your slides. You're not going to have the ability to screen share. I do have that ability, but I know I had to actually call them and tell them to give me that. So unless you can try it out, I doubt that you have the ability to screen share. You see the link for it at the very bottom of the screen?
Oh, yeah.
It's in green. See if you,
Can you get it on your end?
I don't have the ability to screen share on
that's okay.
here.
If you email it to me, I can screen share and I can put them up for you and advance them for you. Is that going to be okay?
Oh, that's completely fine, Beth. Let me just
Okay.
mute.
Whoops, you just got muted somehow.
I'm just going to mute myself and I'll email you the slides right now, Beth. Okay.
Great. Hi, Dr. Matsumoto.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
Great.
Is this your house?
I'm sorry?
You have a really nice yard.
Yes.
You have
So
such wonderful light.
my husband's a landscape architect.
Oh.
And I always have my calls in this room because it is such a pretty, this is a sunroom that he designed. So we can be in a little bubble here and look at all of his plants because that's his place out there. And it's been so nice during COVID. He's had to work at home. And that's been it's always been his therapy, but even so much more. But it's also beautiful for me to share, when I'm doing these calls. So it's very, very, very nice. We're lucky we live in a community where the trees are very mature. So they're pretty tall. It's, we basically are in a forest and we have songbirds and deer and fox and all kinds of turkeys this time of year. So Jen, let me know when you send them and I'll refresh.
I just sent them.
Okay, I'll keep I don't see them at this moment, but I'll keep refreshing here.
It should say UCLA EDAD.
Okay, and you sent them to ketocania@gmail.com?
I see. Yeah, ketocania@gmail.com.
All right, they're probably going over the mountains right now. So we do have one attendee and she informed me, I didn't know this, that it's a bit of a difficult journey to get to this link. So Maureen, right? She's got herself muted, but she explained to me that she first found out that the server is down and then she had to go through her Facebook page to find the meetup
And on top of that, it's still hard to find.
I unmuted.
So,
Yeah.
there you are, Maureen.
Yeah, I was able to get in earlier at when the expo started at 9, but I couldn't find. I saw you listed on the schedule,
The highlights.
but in the lobby we couldn't find where to go for the Zoom meeting. So I had to go to the tech help, and then they sent me the direct link to this Zoom meeting, but it didn't work. So then when I left, I couldn't get back in. They said the server's down. And so then I checked the email again, and I went to my Facebook page, and there's the individual Zoom links, but I think people are not going to be able to find you because it was really difficult
Yeah, they have to go
figure out where you were. And then right now the server's down. My husband couldn't get in at all.
Ah, okay. Jim, is that you that I hear?
Oh no, I think that's Dad.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, that's my husband. He's talking to me. He couldn't get in. He's getting timed out, and he can't get into the web page.
Gosh, all right. Well, that explains. I'm sitting here thinking nobody wants to hear me talk.
I'm trying right now as well, and I can't get in. And Maureen is right. Like I saw us on the entire schedule, but I didn't know where we were on the actual website, and so I kind of tried to navigate through it. And she's right. There's like a different room that you need to enter, and then in that room you have to click on the Charlie Foundation 2-day event. It's a little bit cumbersome, but
yeah, it was really hard to find.
Yeah. So on the bright side, they are recording this, so they will be able to rebroadcast it. So Jen, I still don't see it. Can you check your sent box to see if it went through? It may be that it was a large file and got stuck.
Of course.
let me try. Let's see.
Did it come through on your end and Dr. Matsumoto?
Let me see. For Maureen's benefit, though, she kind of knows who we are.
Yeah, actually, Dr. Matsumoto sees my son. So,
Okay.
she's seen him several times.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I'm still not seeing it here. I've gone into my Gmail as well as my Outlook, thinking maybe it showed up in one or the other first.
Did it possibly go to your junk folder?
Let me check there.
Sometimes because of my maiden name, I get spammed.
Yeah, no, I don't see it in junk. Let me check.
Beck, could you try to re-forward it from your computer?
I just did.
Oh, thank you so much.
You know her?
Do you guys in California practice daylight savings?
Yes.
We do.
Okay. I know part of Arizona doesn't, and I just wanted to double check.
Oh, that's true, huh? It's probably a bad time to do this. To sync everything up, huh?
Yeah, and a lot of Arizonans have gone to this meeting. Yeah, I still don't see them, Jen. Okay, here comes Beck. I think yours have come through. Yep, here they are. Okay. Got it. And at the same time, the set that Jen sent in.
I'm telling you, they went somewhere. My maiden name gets spammed and junked constantly.
Really? All right. So first, let me just
because of the doll.
DOLL.
Okay. So I think I don't know if the Miyaharas, have you met our dietitian and our nurse practitioner?
No.
No, we've only been working with the one at Kaiser. So
Actually, I might have when Jason was hospitalized. The dietitians did
oh,
come.
okay.
But the dietitians at UCLA know our dietitian.
What's her name?
You work with Yui, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, he was our dietitian.
So I think we were just trying to get a little more guidance, but I didn't mean for this to turn into like a one patient.
Yeah.
I was just trying to get more information because when we started him on the keto diet, we went to the dietitian and she just basically told us what foods to avoid and what he could eat. But I don't think we're really being very systematic about it. So when we check his ketones, they kind of go up and down. And I was just trying to get a better idea about how we could get him under better control with the diet. But that's what I was looking for. But if you need to do your presentation, because I know they're recording this, so people may be watching later.
Yes, they are recording it to rebroadcast it, especially with what has happened. I think that's what they're going to do. Today is probably, they're just going to keep.
So I don't want to take over your talk, but if you want to just go ahead and do whatever you were going to,
Okay,
or if
we'll
you
do
want to.
that. We'll go ahead with the talk for the benefit of the recording, and then you guys can talk. I'm going to screen share and put up the slides. And if somebody can tell me, give me a thumbs up, tell me if they can see this first slide. All right, great. Thank you. So welcome everyone. This is our special time of our recordings today to talk about individual centers in Southern California that have ketogenic diet therapy programs. And our first center is UCLA, and the team is here. And I'm going to let everyone introduce themselves because I'm meeting some of you for the first time today. But we're going to go ahead and start with Dr. Matsumoto, and then I'll let Beck, and Jen introduce themselves after Dr. Matsumoto.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm Joyce Matsumoto. I'm the medical director of our ketogenic diet program at UCLA Mattel Children's Hospital. And you're meeting most of our team today. We have our nurse practitioner, Beck Reyes, as well as one of our dietitians, Jennifer White, who's also going to be speaking.
Okay. So tell me about what the process is when a patient comes to your center and wants to make an appointment to be evaluated for ketogenic diet therapy. Where do they go? Who do they call?
So typically we require some sort of referral from either the primary neurologist or primary care physician. So they can call our appointment desk and they can get the process started by giving insurance information to the appointment center, and then that would trigger them to do the benefits investigation. Once we have an authorization in place, either the appointment center or one of our assistants, Monica Cruz, will reach out to the family, and then we can secure an appointment for consultation. And then from there, that's typically when we meet the family.
All right. And we have the phone number up and email address and so forth, names of everybody involved on the screen. So you're welcome to jot that down or take a screenshot to catch all of that. So I want to ask you, there are variations in ketogenic diet therapies. What do you offer at your center?
So I can answer that as the dietitian. We do a classic or a modified ketogenic diet, and then we offer a modified Atkins diet, which we refer to as MAD for short. And we do that for patients who are at least 5 years old. And then we will do a variation of the MCT oil diet. And then we will do hybrid or customized diets as long as they're medically feasible.
And how do you start your diets, especially during this time when hospitalizations are limited? Are you doing this inpatient or outpatient?
Sure, that's a good question. So we are doing our classic ketogenic diet for pediatric patients. We will initiate that in the hospital. And then our modified Atkins diet, we do in the outpatient setting. And during the pandemic, we've been doing that via telehealth. So, and Dr. Matsumoto and Beck, feel free to weigh in here as well if you want to provide other details.
Yeah, I think given the current circumstances, we've had a lot more telehealth consultations. And so at this time, consultations and follow-ups are occurring via telehealth. And most interestingly, we've been doing our education sessions via Zoom and telehealth. And so that's been a really great but interesting process as well.
We're trying to be very flexible, given the current situation and everything, seems to be changing on a constant basis. We've even tried to do some initiations for ketogenic diet slowly as an outpatient. It hasn't gone as smoothly as one would have liked. And so we're still erring on the side of bringing them into the hospital, especially since our hospital has pretty strict guidelines with regard to testing and things like that. And so as long as we're able to, as long as it seems medically feasible, I think that the preference is still to bring them into the hospital for full-on ketogenic diet initiation, just because the education process and the initiation process seems to still go more smoothly in that way.
I remember years ago, you were only working with the pediatric program in initiating and managing ketogenic diets. And then a few years ago, you opened that up to adults. So I think you're one of the few centers in Southern California that is working with adults on ketogenic diet therapy. Can you talk a little bit about that program?
Sure. So we do have a good number of adults that we're currently working with. And the adults have the option of doing a classic ketogenic diet, and then many of them often choose a modified Atkins diet or MAD. And for our adults, we will initiate in the outpatient setting. And as I was saying, most of them do opt to go with a modified Atkins diet, as it is a little bit more of a liberalized version of diet therapy. And we find that for adults, for those who are responding well to diet therapy, they tend to plan to be on it for a much longer length of time than, say, a pediatric patient who may be on it for only 2 to 3 years. So we need to find a diet that's really going to be something that they can do for the long term. And again, those initiations are done in the outpatient setting, and we're following the same protocols that we would for any other all of our pediatric patients in terms of the medical management and the follow-up schedule.
All right. This is the team, and all of them are here except for Sarika. And again, the website is here, and then health insurance can be accessed on the link shown in this slide. And by the way, this is being recorded for rerun during the sessions of the conference, but also afterwards. It's going to be available. So is this one of your docs?
I think so, but this is one of the stock UCLA slides. This guy is, I've seen him front and center in one of the malls in LA. So he's quite famous in that sense. I believe he's one of the pediatricians.
Okay. You can kind of see his name tag here.
Yeah, I think his name is Richard White.
Yeah, I see Richard for sure. Yeah. It's a beautiful picture.
According to his name tag. But we work with any of the doctors at UCLA, any of the pediatric neurology doctors, as well as the adult epilepsy or adult neurology doctors as well. We do like to have the primary neurologist or the primary physician be on board with the whole idea of diet therapy, because it is very much a collaboration. There are things that we need to do that, they need to be on board with, and changes that need to be made. And so, we think that it's important that this be an entire team effort. We do have a few doctors from the community who also refer to our program that we have a close relationship with. But in any case, I think that it's very important that everybody be on board, because it is a big effort on the part of the patients, the families, and everybody involved.
Great. Okay. Something that I've learned over the years of working with the Charlie Foundation and coming out to LA and speaking at the Epilepsy Foundation meetings is that there's a good synergy between the centers. I mean, they actually talk to each other. And I'll tell you what, on the East Coast, that is not the case. Everybody's kind of, to themselves and protecting their information. So I think it's really a unique community that you share. The dietitians I know get together for social gatherings as well as professional to work together to improve, the practices of the program. So it's really wonderful to see that. And possibly the Charlie Foundation has influenced that over the years, but we're certainly proud of the Southern California centers. So I thank you all for your work and for coming on today to share, a little bit about your center. It's not common for programs to get to, sort of tout their wares. You're doing good work. I mean, I really hear wonderful reports from your families, and we get a lot of communication, I should say, with social media from people all over the world, but the hot spot is Southern California. So it's, it's great to see that. And it just makes our day when people contact us and say, we had a really good response, our child had a good response, or I, as the adult, now that it's really more commonly used in adults, more accepted, and hopefully even that will continue to grow as more research comes out, as food options get more friendly to keto, as restaurants become more attuned to this and start offering. So it's good to see this evolution, especially in your area where I see it's always been stronger than really anywhere else in the country. So if anybody has any comments about that, please, this is feel free to speak up time.
And personally, I think that it's quite interesting how, there are a number of centers in Southern California, and each one seems to have a slightly different flavor. One would think that diet therapy is, fairly standardized across different places, but that each one has its own personality, which doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad or good. It's just more suited to their population. So I think that it's been very helpful for all of us, especially, in these meetings where everybody gets together to hear about other centers' experience, because, sometimes if we have special circumstances where we need a little bit more help, the dietitians are very open about communicating and sharing their experience to try and help each other out. So I think that it's pushed all of us along as a whole.
Yeah, and I think it's really great that in general, the centers have been very collaborative. We do happen to share patients just because geographically, perhaps one test can be done at one center and not at another. And so we do cumulatively share patients. And so we're constantly calling each other, emailing each other, asking about patients and how we can best manage them while they're in our institution.
That's wonderful. Great to hear. Maureen, did you want to ask anything general about the program? I know you mentioned asking some questions about your son, which you can either contact Beck or Jen, or if you stay on, for some of the other activities today, Jim and Nancy Abrams are going to be on next for an interview about their experience with ketogenic diet therapy, as well as the Charlie Foundation, which is, that's their baby. So you're welcome to stay on for that and ask them questions if you're curious. But feel free to share or ask if you so desire. Jen, are you still there?
I'm still here.
Okay. I think, oh, there you are. Okay. You're you're out in space. You have this blue sky.
I know. Well, I'll give you a little background, haha, pun intended, on this background. I called our help desk to have them help me put a background because I have a lot of things in my office, but he told me to stay very still or else it would be distracting. So normally I'm somebody who likes to talk with my hands and move around. So I'm just being very still so that I don't distract from everyone else. So the, learning about Zoom and all the technology, but yes, Maureen, if you have any, specific diet related questions, you're welcome to contact us after. We can give our contact information, or if there's something we could answer for you now, I'd be happy to if time permits, Beth.
Certainly, yeah. Let me just do a check here. We're good. We're good. I would be like 10 minutes is when I need to get ready for our next speaker.
Sure. So I know you mentioned that your son is working with Yui at Kaiser. So I don't know how recently he started on diet therapy, or if there's anything you wanted to ask, we're here.
He's almost 2 years now
Okay.
He's on a modified diet.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering how long can he stay on that for the kids? We heard there was like 2 years maybe that he should come off of it eventually. Is that true?
I mean, Dr. Matsumoto and Beth, obviously, all experts in this area. For us, we have patients where sort of the stock answer is that the average length of time may be 2 to 3 years, but certainly in our program, we've had patients who are on for much longer lengths of time. Again, the diet has evolved so much over the past 20, 30 years. I mean, we're finding that certainly the more liberalized versions of the diet you can stay on for an indefinite amount of time. I mean, everyone needs to be properly supplemented with micronutrients, and you also have to sort of weigh the pros and cons and look at quality of life. But if the patient is responding to diet therapy and they're benefiting and the pros are outweighing the cons, and that would certainly be the argument to continue as long as you can.
So he's 14 now and he's tired of this diet, so he wants to come off of it. I don't know if it's really helped him because he's still having a lot of seizures, like right now, a couple a week. But if he gets any kind of sugar, he's going to have a seizure. So does that count as a response, like a positive response?
I would count that. Dr. Matsumoto, what are you back?
I mean, knowing what I know, I think that you all have done an amazing job of staying with the diet, because it's a difficult thing in this particular age range. There's a lot of other food choices that people are interested in exploring, right? And so it's been impressive. I would say that a lot of times people will people will try to come off of the diet, but we recommend doing it slowly if at all possible, because things like this, it can be one of those things where there's more of a benefit than one might expect. There's also the question of other medications and things, like when we taper something, we often will try to taper a medication that's perhaps having more side effects and things like that. And so the diet is perhaps taking the place of something else. So it's a big balancing act that people are going through. But I wouldn't, to answer your question, there's not necessarily a specific time that you will say that, you know, you have to come off of the diet at this point. A lot of it is guided by side effects and just preference and things like that, which is why you hear about the adults who want to stay on, because if they see a benefit, you know, they would rather do that than try than do more medications and things. But if it's not helping, then, you know, it's a natural thing to want to try and come off of the diet.
Thank you.
Okay, everyone, thank you so much for joining and for sharing your center. We greatly appreciate taking the time today to do this when I know you're busy. So once again, thank you for coming. And Maureen, I hope you come back and watch some more of today. I'll be here, and you might be my only attendee. So please come back if you can. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Much, Beth.